Here is the insane story of Michael Brown, the man who lost $36 billion worth of Bitcoin. He bought 370,000 BTC for $0.01 each. Then, he blackmailed a U.S. senator. The early stage of Bitcoin was full of opportunities. By mining blocks of 50 BTC on a laptop, some were able to amass huge fortunes. One was Michael Mansell Brown, known as Knight MB. He was once the 7th richest person in Bitcoin. Brown discovered Bitcoin in early 2010. When he first got involved, one Bitcoin was less than 1 cent. Here he is chatting with Satoshi on the forums. Brown was there for some of the biggest Bitcoin moments. Here he is replying to Laszlo's pizza thread, when one Bitcoin was still worth only $0.06. Outside of Bitcoin, Brown led a seemingly quiet life. His family thought he was an IT specialist. He made the local news for a bicycle he made.
And 2 lightweight nickel metal batteries.
All we had to do was just take the tire off the original one and put it on that one, put the batteries on, put the wires on, and it was all set to go.
Wires from the battery pack to the motor run neatly along the mainframe, the throttle much like a motorcycle.
Still, not everything about Brown added up. Brown claimed to know Satoshi's identity. "I can't say if he is alive or dead," he said. Then there was the matter of Brown's employer. He claimed he was building Bitcoin products for banks. Here's where things got really interesting. Brown said his employers were paying him to generate massive amounts of Bitcoin. In total, he mined over 370,000 BTC with their servers. But he said they soon lost interest in the project. As Brown tells it, he convinced his bosses to sell him the project for $5,000. He got 371,000 Bitcoin in the deal. That's $0.01 per coin. Shortly after, Brown disappeared. Some wondered what happened to the 370,000 Bitcoin. By that time, his Bitcoin was worth $1 million. Behind the scenes, Brown's life was more complicated. Back in 2009, he had been raided by the Secret Service. Now they were investigating him again. In real life, the cops were after Brown again. This time, it was in connection with a ransom scandal. One that involved a U.S. presidential candidate. The U.S. government accused Brown of extortion. They believed he stole Mitt Romney's tax returns and that he was holding them for a $1 million ransom.
Secret Service had raided his home. The sounds of agents kicking down the door. Images of the Secret Service swarming the house. These were all recorded by Brown's own cameras during a raid back on November 19, 2009. The Secret Service suspected Brown had stolen encrypted information on 1,000 customers from a farmer's insurance website.
In the early days of Bitcoin, this was headline news. Brown went on TV to claim he was innocent, but police seized his computers and arrested him.
But this is the second time that the Secret Service has thought that you are responsible for some crime.
Yes, I mean, I understand that the Secret Service is just doing its job, and they're investigating, for a crime. But at the same time, I feel like I'm kind of being profiled.
Are you a computer hacker?
No.
Did you steal Mitt Romney's tax returns?
No, I did not.
The evidence was against him. Agents were able to connect him to the hard drive mailed to Romney. It contained a photo of his own cat, one identified by his own home camera video. In 2016, Brown, also known as Knight MB, was convicted. He was indicted by a jury. He was forced to pay $200,000 and spent 4 years in prison. 1 year later, Brown managed to get his sentence reviewed. He claimed others had access to his computers, that his friends were the real crooks. But the court upheld his conviction. Brown claims that the lawsuit's costs left him destitute. As to what happened to his 371,000 Bitcoin, it remains a mystery.